Vasaikas don't forget this saint from Vasai, Saint Gonsalo Garcia, killed in Japan Nagasaki along with 26 companions. He was fluent in Japanese and served as a catechist. He was resident of Agashi village in Basin. Vasai father was a Portuguese soldier and his mother a Canary, Konkani. Gonsalo lost his mother and stayed in orphanage. Agashi, being a shipbuilding yard, was targeted by other pirates to destroy Portuguese naval power. Hence the Jesuits shifted the orphanage to Basin fort for safety, and there Gonzalo lived with the Jesuits. Attached to the Jesuit headquarters, the Church of the Holy Name of Jesus. He was a mestizo in the Portuguese terms. Any Portuguese who got married with a local woman was given privileges. So Garcia's father was permitted to quit the job and stayed in the Vasai fort with his family as a civilian employee. Saint Gonzalo Garcia stayed in this church till the age of 16. Saint Gonzalo Garcia was present as a young boy at Sandur Church at the foundation laying ceremony of the chapel Our Lady of Help built in the village for the converts. The chapel was renamed after Thomas the Apostle, when in 1565 his picture was brought from the fort and enshrined in the chapel. Garcia studied at the Jesuit school in Vasai fort and helped in the Church of the Holy Name of Jesus, now known as Saint Gonzalo Garcia Church. Here Garcia came into contact with the Jesuit priest, Sebastião Gonçalves, who became a friend and guide throughout his life. During his stay with the Jesuits, he learned grammar, philosophy and Roman history. When he was 13, Gonzalo asked Father Sebastian for permission to join the missionaries to Japan. His request was denied because he was too young, but was approved few years later, once the missionaries reached Japan. Gonzalo worked as a catechist. He tried to join the Jesuit order, but he was turned down, losing hope. Gonzalo left the Jesuits. He moved to the Japanese city of Lakio and started work as merchant. His work flourished. Through his business transaction he came into contact with the many high-ranking members of Japanese society, including the emperor. He was accepted into the Franciscan order. In Manila, he came into contact with the Franciscan missionary, Friar Pedro Bautista. Garcia started his career as a catechist in Manila. King of Spain wanted to send a delegation to Japan. The Spanish governor of Manila selected Peter Baptist as the leader of the delegation, and, since he did not know the Japanese language, Garcia was selected as his translator. The Japanese regent Toyotomi Hideyoshi was very friendly with these Franciscans. A Spanish treasure ship named the San Felipe was forced to land because of a storm. The captain told the local Japanese custom agent that the Franciscans had been sent by the Spanish king to influence the people to rebel against their rule. This lie was taken advantage of by the enemies of the Franciscans. The king was angry and the shogun issued an order to arrest and execute all Christian missionaries in Japan. The Franciscans, including Bautista, Garcia and others, were arrested on 8 December 1596 and were sentenced to death. There were 3 Jesuits also, including the native seminarian, Paul Mickey. They were taken to a hill known as Nishigeoka on 5 Feb 1597. Few companions left, ears were cut off. Gonzalo went straight to one of the crosses and asked, "Is this mine?" The reply was, "It is not." Then he was taken to another cross, where he knelt down and embraced it. The others, one after another, started doing the same. The execution started at 10 a.m. Peter Baptist and the other friars were crucified, along with 15 teenage boys who were members of the Third Order of St. Francis, as well as the 3 Jesuits, including 3 young boys. All of them started singing the Te Deum in thanksgiving to God for granting them the grace of martyrdom. Gonzalo was the first to be crucified. Once the missionaries were nailed to the crosses, the soldiers pierced each one through the heart with 2 spears. Upon seeing this, Christians in the crowd broke through the guards and used pieces of cloth to soak up the blood of these holy martyrs. The strongest soldiers had tears in their eyes. The last words of Saint Gonzalo Garcia were, "May God be with you, brother. I'm going to heaven. Lord, I have done what I could. Accept the sacrifice of my life. If I had 1,000 lives more, I would have offered them all." Their bodies were left for vultures to eat, but even after 40 days, the vultures didn't dare to eat their bodies. Their bodies were still fully intact. The bones of these martyrs have been preserved in church and museum. In 1627 the 26 were declared venerable by Pope Urban VIE, and permitted the Jesuits and the Franciscans to venerate them. In 1629 their veneration was permitted throughout the Universal Church. In 1862 and on 8 June 1862 Pope Pius IX canonized Gonzalo Garcia and his comartners. brother Gonzalo Garcia became Saint Gonzalo Garcia, the first Catholic saint of India and the Indian subcontinent, and 8 June 2012 marked the 150th anniversary of his canonization. The feast celebrated in Vasai Fort on the Sunday after New Year's Day is actually a combination of two feasts, that is, the Feast of the Holy Name of Jesus and the Feast of Saint Gonzalo Garcia. The custom of celebration of this combined feast in Vasai Fort was started by Reverend Father Peter since the celebration of the Platinum Jubilee in 1932.